wherever you are from, let me know and please subscribe our channel. Here we are mainly talking about the spiritual wisdom and human warmth found in the works by the Chinese writer Mr. Xuemo. And today I want to talk about something that may change the way you understand success. And not just a business success, but real success in life. Many people today think that business is about tragedy, skills, and making money. And of course, these things are very important, but they are not the deepest layer. If you observe carefully, you will notice something very interesting. Many truly great entrepreneurs are not just business people. Actually, they are thinkers. They read philosophy, they study history, and second, they also reflect deeply on life. At first glance, these things may seem useless, just like 道德经. They seem like useless, and you can't directly use philosophy to make a deal. You cannot use history to close a sale. So many people ignore them. They focus only on practical skills. They want fast results. And here is the paradox. The deeper your life goes, the more you will realize it. And what seems useless is often the most powerful. The history and the philosophy are what we call the usefulness of the useless. This is a saying from Chinese traditional wisdom, the uselessness, the usefulness of the useless, 无用之大用, the usefulness of the useless. They don't solve surface problems, they solve fundamental problems. For example, how do you make decisions in uncertainty? And how do you deal with pressure and fear? How do you understand people? These are not just business skills. These are life level questions, and they determine everything. So when business is small, skills may be enough. You can rely on for what? But when your business grows, everything changes. The world you face becomes larger, the complexity increases. Hello, Karthik, I'm from China, and I'm introducing Xuemo Mindology and Xuemo books to the world. So you are no longer just dealing with tasks, you are dealing with people, systems, and uncertainty, and you are dealing with human nature. At that point, skills are no longer enough. You need depth and you need perspective. You need a higher level of thinking. And this is where culture becomes important. So, and this is what we are doing. Spread Xuemo's culture to the world. And this is where philosophy enters your life. Hi, Seko, please subscribe our channel. So the more responsibility you carry, the more inner strength you need. The more people you influence, the more clarity you need. The higher you stand, the more stable you must be. Hi, Seko and Lu. And stability does not come from techniques or skills. It comes from your inner structure, and it comes from the your understanding of life. Thank you. The fourth dimension you just described, family, gosu, Hi, so many new friends here. Please subscribe our channel. Thank you for your support. Thank you. And I'm Joanna, and I'm introducing Xuemo's works. Xuemo is a contemporary Chinese writer who has written 80 titles with over 200 editions and have been translated into 28 languages. Please subscribe our channel. It's a place for growth, inner strength, and clarity. And so this is also why many entrepreneurs have philosophical thinking. Their decisions are not random and their actions are not short-sighted. They can see beyond immediate profit and they see beyond short-term gains and losses. They think in terms of long-term value. And more importantly, they understand human nature. Hello, friends, new friends from Brazil. Welcome, welcome. Please subscribe our channel. So the successful entrepreneurs, they understand human nature. They understand people, not just the behavior, but human nature, and not just the demand, but deeper needs. And this brings us to another important idea. What is the real driving force of business? The real driving force of business, is it traffic? Is it marketing tricks? Is it clever strategies? Or is it something deeper? So truly great entrepreneurs do not focus on tricks. They do not obsess over small advantages. They do not calculate every tiny gain. Instead, they focus on one thing: how to serve people better, how to create real value. And they ask questions like this: how can I help my users succeed? And how can I solve real problems? How could I make something meaningful? And how can I build something that lasts? These questions are different. They are not about taking, they are about giving, and they are about contribution. And here is something very important. When your mindset shifts from taking to giving, everything begins to change. And your relationship changes, your decisions change, and your direction become clearer. Hi, Turkey friends. Hello, Tom, Milka, Sakil, and from Arabic, from India. Thank you for your support. Please subscribe our channel. Yes. So now you're aligned with something larger than yourself, and you're no longer just chasing profit. You're creating value, and value has a very interesting nature. When it is real, it attracts everything. It attracts trust, people, and opportunity. And that this is why some businesses grow naturally, not because they are the most aggressive, but because they are the most aligned. Aligned with what? Aligned with human needs and aligned with deeper truth. And this is where culture, philosophy, and wisdom come in again. They help you see clearly and they help you stay grounded. They help you not lose yourself in the process because success without clarity is dangerous and growth without depth is unstable. And when we talked about serving others, we are actually touching something much deeper than business. It is not just a strategy, it is also a way seeing the world, and it is a way relating to people. Hi, Richard. AM Ahmed, in-game Simba, Eternal Anti, Hello, Pony, Crypto Conquered. Hello, welcome. Please subscribe to our channel if you're new here. And we are talking about the spirituality and the traditional wisdom from based on Xuemo mythology. So in this today's world, many people are talking about internet thinking, but very few people really understand what it means. Most people think it is about traffic and growth. They think it is about algorithm. They think it is about capturing attention. They think it is about maximizing profit. But that is only the surface. The real essence is very different. And this is something Xuemo also pointed out in his writings. He described a kind of thinking that does not start from self-interest, but starts from the user, from others, not in a superficial way, not as a marketing slogan, but from a genuine intention, a deep intention to benefit others, and a sincere wish to create something meaningful, not just to make money. And this is where everything begins to change. Because when your starting point changes, your entire system changes. And the way you design products changes, the way you provide services changes, even the way you think changes. You're no longer asking, how can I give more? You begin to ask something else. How can I make this better for others? And how can I make this easier, more joyful, more meaningful? These are very different questions. And when you truly care, something very interesting happens. You begin to forget yourself, the self. And you forgot your preferences. You forget you forget your convenience, and you focus completely on others. And this kind of focus is powerful. It creates trust. It creates connection. It creates something that cannot be faked. And the people can feel it, even if they cannot explain it. This is why some products feel different. And this is why some services feel warm, because they come from a different place, not from calculation, but from sincerity, not from manipulation. Hello, Anita, HXM. I am Loic Poimney. Welcome. Thanks for your companion. Also, so if you have this kind of focus, uh, the people will feel your product from care. And this is not just a business principle, it is a reflection of something deeper. It reflects a certain way of being and a way of aligning with what is right. And this connects to something very ancient. In traditional Chinese wisdom, there is an idea the Tao gives birth and the virtue nourishes. Things arise from the Tao and they are sustained through virtue. This is not just a philosophy, it is a description of how life works. And interestingly, many successful entrepreneurs naturally align with this. Even they do not study it, even if they cannot explain it in words, they embody it. Hi, Abdul. Thanks for your question. Thanks for your trust. Then I will recommend Xuemo's books to you. And maybe you should start from the book. The world is a reflection of the mind. Or start from this. Reclaim the throne of your heart by Xuemo. And you can search for Xuemo, Xuemo, Xuemo. It is available on Amazon. And searching for Xuemo, and you can look for this little yellow book. Yes, Reclaim the throne of your heart. It is about inner strength, and you can you will not only learn simply just some methods, but there are paths that guiding you transferring from the methods to daily life living. Hello, Rose, and hello, please subscribe our channel. So they act in a way that is aligned and they create in a way that nourishes others. And this is why they grow. Hi, Tony. So not because they force, please subscribe our channel, thank you. Not because they force growth, but because growth becomes natural. This is a very different path. And Xuemo often talks about this kind of alignment. He points out that true wisdom is not about control. It is about harmony, and it is about being in tune with something larger. And when you are in tune, things begin to flow. Not in a chaotic way, but in an ordered, natural way. This is similar to another metaphor. The sun shines on everything, but it does not demand anything in return. Right? About Abdul's question, tell me why you all Chinese are so productive. I think it is a traditional. It is just our daily life. There is a saying in China, 天道酬勤, and the Tao always support hardworking. Oh, the voice is still buffering. Sorry about that. So the sun shines on everything, but it does not demand anything in return. It gives without asking. It nurtures without selecting. And because of that, everything grows. And this is the nature of true contribution. And this is also the nature of great enterprises. The great enterprises, they don't try to take from users. They try to become like the sun. They provide value continuously. They create an environment where people can grow, where people can receive what they need. And in doing so, they themselves grow stronger. This is not a contradiction. And this is also Abdul's question. So you don't have the power. Actually, what makes you stronger and power is to give, not to not to grab from the outside world, but to give. To give, the more you give, maybe the more power and the more inner strength you have. Hi, Ray, welcome. I am Louis Xuemo. Hi, Irma. Thank you for your explanation. Thank you. Hello, Ibrahim. Welcome. Thanks for your question. And so today's topic is about the the how become successful. Not it is not about the skills, techniques, but about more deeper things. So the more you give, you grow stronger. And this is not a contradiction. And this is a natural result of alignment. But if you do the opposite, if you focus only on extracting value, then something else happens. You may gain in short term, but you lose something deeper. Oh, that's good. Yeah, sometimes the answer just appears upon asking question, and so there's no answer needed. Is this your ancestor's secret technique? This what we are talking are based on Xuemo methodology and also based on the traditional wisdom. Yeah. Hi Yama, and where are you from? God007. Hello, please subscribe our channel. So if you focus only on extracting value, then you may gain in short term, and but you lose something deeper. Maybe you will lose trust, you lose connection, and eventually you lose everything. Because people are not machines. They can feel intention. They can feel whether you care. They can feel whether you respect them. And this feeling determines everything. So when we talk about business, we are actually talking about people. And when we talk about people, we are talking about the heart. And this is why the deeper you go into business, the closer you get to philosophy, and the closer you get to something essential. Loic. So, yes, you are not materialistic and hate fake success. Yes, we all think hate maybe so we are talking about the great success that really that is meaningful to the society and to the human beings. You're growing. Hi, ma'am. Hello, welcome. Please subscribe our channel. So if we go even deeper, we begin to see that all of this is not just about business. It is about the human heart, and it is about how we relate to the world, and it is about who we become. In ancient wisdom, there is a very important idea. There are three treasures, and these three treasures define true strength. The first is 慈, compassion. In Chinese, it is called 慈, compassion. And the second is 简, is simplicity or restraint. The third is not competing for superiority. That means not trying to be above others, not trying to dominate, not trying to win everything. So at first, is this sound very counterintuitive, it, especially for you Western viewers, right? Not trying to win, not competing, not to trying to be above others, and not trying to dominate, not trying to win. Is this sounds very counterintuitive for you? Let me know. Because the modern world teaches the opposite. It teaches us to compete, to win, and to be first, and to stand out at all costs, to fight for advantage, to always be ahead of others. But ancient wisdom tells us something very different. It says that the true power, the true strength, does not come from aggression, and it comes from compassion. It says that the true expansion does not come from excess, it comes from simplicity. It says that the true leadership does not come from competing for the top, it comes from not competing. This is very subtle. But if you look carefully, you will see that this is not weakness. This is a different kind of power, a power that is stable, a power that lasts, a power that does not collapse under pressure, because it is rooted in something deeper, not in ego, but in alignment. And this is something Xuemo often emphasizes. He speaks about a kind of strength that comes from inner clarity and compassion, not from struggle, not from compassion, comparison, but from understanding. He once expressed an idea like this: if you lose compassion and try to become strong, that strength will destroy you. So if you lose compassion and try to become strong, that strength will destroy you. If you lose restraint and try to expand, that expansion will collapse. And if you lose humility and try to lead, that leadership will not last. This is a very deep warning because today many people are chasing strength, but in the wrong way. They think strength means dominance. They think success means being above others. They think growth means endless expansion, and this path is dangerous because it is not aligned with reality, but eventually it leads to exhaustion and collapse. So, what is the alternative? The answer is surprising simple. Hi, Scott. You know a lot about Chinese culture. So, when I'm talking about this, you realize that there is an idea called Wu Wei. Yes, Wu Wei. Not competing. Wu Wei or Wu Bu Wei. And to doing nothing, and yet everything is done. 无为而无不为. By doing nothing, yet everything is done. Or you can say by doing nothing, nothing is left undone. So, what is the alternative? The answer is surprisingly simple: return to the heart, return to compassion return to something genuine. Because compassion is not weakness, it is the source of courage. When you truly care, you're willing to act, you're willing to take responsibility, and you're willing to protect. This is real strength, not aggressive strength, but protective strength. And this kind of strength can win without fighting. It can endure without breaking. It can lead without forcing. This is why true compassion is true compassion is described as the strongest armor. And Scott, thank you. Thank you for your time being here. So it is very interesting, and I think it is today's topic is also very really important for me myself. So the true power actually comes from softness. You would think the true power, when I think of you must be strong and powerful, you think that yes, strong, powerful. Actually, the true strength comes from softness and compassion. So the true compassion is described as the strongest armor because nothing can break it, not even hostility, not even misunderstanding, because compassion includes everything. It does not reject, it does not exclude, it understands, and when you understand, your heart becomes vast. And when your heart is vast, many problems disappear naturally. And you are less reactive, you are less judgmental, you are less disturbed. And this changes everything, not only in your life, but also in your business. Because now, hi, so many new friends here. Please subscribe our channel. Mugaisa. Sorry, it's so difficult to pronounce these names. Valen Gaming, Mugaisa, Ash. Hello, welcome and please subscribe our channel. So now you can truly stand in others' positions. You can understand your users and you can understand your team, you can understand your customers, and this understanding creates a completely different kind of business. A business that based on connection, not exploitation. A business that is based on care, not manipulation. And this is rare, but it is really powerful and it lasts because it aligns with truth. And when compassion becomes stable in your heart, something else naturally appears. You no longer feel the need to compete. You no longer feel the urge to prove yourself. You no longer need to be above others. And this is what ancient wisdom calls not competing. And this does not mean you become passive. It means you are no longer driven by an ego. You still act, you still create, you still build, but your motivation is different. You are not trying to win over others. You are trying to fulfill what is right. And this changes everything. Because when you stop competing, you actually become stronger. And this may sound a paradox, but it is real. Because competition consumes energy. It creates tension, it creates fear, it creates constant pressure. But when you are not competing, your energy becomes clear, your actions become precise. You are no longer reacting, you are responding. And this is a high level of action. And this is why ancient wisdom says the soft can overcome the hard. Hi, you fresh, Mason. Hello, welcome. So just just speaking about the ancient wisdom says the soft can overcome the hard. The soft can overcome the hard. So gentleness can overcome strength. Gentleness can overcome strength. Not because it is stronger on the surface, but because it does not break. It adapts, it flows, it absorbs an impact, and because of that, it lasts, and what lasts eventually wins. This is a very different definition of victory. It is not immediate, but it is certain, and this is something Xuemo also reflects in many of his teachings. Xuemo often speaks about a kind of strength that does not fight directly, but still prevails, a kind of presence that does not obs others. Hi, Arzu. Hi, Ephraim. And Masket. Welcome. Please subscribe to the channel. So, talking about this kind, the strength of softness and the kind of a presence, it reminds me of Mr. Xuemo. I always attended his lectures before I come to Xuemo Academy. So every time you are attending the lecture, when he's there, you can feel the presence, and you have prepared so many questions about life, about relationship, about business, about education. But when you come close to him and standing beside him, there is no question at all. There's no all these questions, and you feel that being is enough. And also, when he is giving a lecture, his voice is so soft and gentle, but you can feel the vast power behind that. It is like all the words are come from the sea of the wisdom. It is come from the truth. It comes from the existence. So that is a kind of present, and that power and presence transform the situation. And this is also the power of alignment. And this brings us to another important point. If you want something to last, you must learn restraint. You must learn simplicity, not just in money, but in desire. And this is also a very important lesson for me. And you must learn simplicity in consumption, in how you use your energy. And this is very important because everything in life has limits. Your energy is limited, your time is limited, your resources are limited. If you overuse them, you will pay the price. Maybe not immediately, but eventually. And this is true for individuals. And it is also true for business. Many businesses collapse, not because they are weak, but because they overextend. They consume too much, they grow too fast without foundation, and this is why restraint is not limitation, it is protection. It protects your core, it protects your sustainability, sustainability, it protects your future. And this idea is very deeply rooted in Xuemo's understanding of life as well. Hello, so many new friends here. Please subscribe our channel. Thank you so much. Thank you. What's your view on today's inflation? Hi, Travels. Thanks for your question. But to be honest, I kind of forgot what is the word inflation. Sorry about. Can you explain that? So Xuemo often emphasizes that true growth is not about adding more, but it is about removing what is unnecessary, removing noise, removing distractions, removing excessive desire, so that your true nature can remain clear and stable. And when your core is stable, everything you build becomes stable as well. Your business becomes stable, your relationships become stable, your decisions become stable, and this stability is what allows something last for a long time. Not just grow fast, but grow deeply, and what grows deeply cannot be easily destroyed. And this is the true meaning of long-term success. And this is what I feel um, the most deeply thing when I come to Xuemo Academy, and something deep grows. Something deep grows, but not just on the performance. On the it is not about appearance, and it seems like your living condition is more limited and more simple, inconvenience in some way, but something deep inside grows. And I feel power, that power from the inner side, but not like an appearance to show you are strong. Actually, you become in the appearance, you become more soft, you become more inclusiveness, inclusive, and but deep inside you feel the strong strength. Hi, in heaven. Hi, Divakar, Antive Gaming. Oh, I have back to China already. Yes, after the UK travel. Yes, I'm now in China. So when we look at all of this together, we begin to see a much bigger picture. This is not just about business anymore. It is not even just about personal growth. It is about a universal pattern, a pattern that applies to individuals, to families, to businesses, and even to the entire nation. Everything that lasts follows similar principles, and everything that collapses breaks those principles. If you observe history, you will see this very clearly. Many powerful empires did not fall because they were weak. They fell because they lost balance. They lost restraint. They lost clarity. They lost their center. They consumed too much. They expanded without limit. They indulged in desire. And eventually, they exhausted their foundation. They collapsed, became inevitable. This is not just history, this is a law, and it applies everywhere, to a country, to a company, to a person. So if you cannot restrain yourself, if you cannot regulate your desires, if you keep consuming without awareness, then decline is inevitable, maybe slow but certain. And this is why preparation is so important, but not just external preparation, not just skills or resources. The most important preparation is internal. This is also what Mr. Xuemo teach us. It is about your character, your inner state, and your character is the most important. And what? So just follow your teacher's teaching, and so it's about character, inner state, awareness, or discipline. So your capacity to stay aligned, because everything outside is built upon what is inside you. Yes, we will also attend the Frankfurt Book Fair, which we have attended for many years, and um, we win many, yes, successful. It is very successful book fair, and the Frankfurt Book Fair is very different from the London Book Fair. London Book Fair is more professional things about deals, about copyrights. The Frankfurt Book Fair is also open to the readers, to ordinary person, yes, who are interested in reading. So if your inside is unstable, what you build will not last. If your inside is clear, what you build becomes stable. And this is something Xuemo repeatedly points to. He emphasizes that true transformation does not begin outside, it begins within, not by adding more, but by refining yourself, by cultivating your heart, cultivating your own character is so important. Sometimes to be a good person, be kind to your family, be kind to the ones you meet is more important than meditation, you know. So cultivating your character is really important. And so by cultivating your heart, by expanding your awareness, by removing what is unnecessary, and when this inner preparation is done well, everything changes naturally. Your relationships become more harmonious, and your work becomes more meaningful, your business becomes more stable, and even your environment changes because now you're aligned with something deeper. And from this alignment, a very interesting happens. You no longer need to take from others, you begin to give. And not in a forced way, but naturally. You begin to think, how can I benefit others? How can I create space for others? And how can I allow others to grow? And this is very powerful. Because when you create space for others, others will not harm you. They will support you. Okay. Actually, has written over 80 titles, um, over 200 editions, and they have different forms and have different topics, because forms can be different and the theme and the topic can be different, maybe about business, about history, about philosophy, about human nature, about destiny, about the meaning of life, about spirituality. The, but they based on the same thing, the Tao, in Chinese saying the Tao. So they are all based on Xuemo mythology. So there may be different forms. And besides, I have um, from all these over 80 titles, I have read maybe 80, 60 of them, of the Xuemo works. And besides that, I started reading at a very, very young age. And I read 70 books every year. And this reading habit has lasted for almost 20 years. So yes, I know maybe, yeah, I did nothing is left undone. So 无为而无不为. It is the traditional wisdom from Lao Tzu or from 道德经. So how can I allow others to grow? And this, when you create space for others, they will trust you and they will grow with you. And this creates a completely different world, not a world of competition. It is also wisdom from 道德经, no competing. So we are creating a world of, not a world of competition, but a world of coexistence. And this is much more stable, much more sustainable, and much more powerful. And we go even further, we begin to see that the ultimate direction is not about self-expansion, but about dissolving the self, not in a negative way, but in a liberating way. Because when the self becomes lighter, you become freer, and you're no longer trapped by comparison, by fear, by constant desire. And in that state, your actions become pure, your mind becomes clear, and your life begins to align with something much greater. And this is why what we are talking about today is not just knowledge. It is a path of understanding, a path of transformation. And this path has been explored by many great thinkers. And in modern times, Xuemo is one of those who continues this exploration. Through his work, he connects inner cultivation with real life. Xuemo shows that these are not abstract ideas, they are something you can live. And now, if we look at the world today, we are clearly living in a time of intense competition. Competition is everywhere. "道德经", the natural role is, and when you say doing nothing, actually, it not means laziness. It is like kind of you're still working hard, but you don't expect for you don't have the strong expectation for a result. So nowadays competition is everywhere, from global politics to business environments to individual lives. Everything seems to be driven by comparison. People are competing for attention, competing for resources, competing for recognition, and even at the smallest level, people are competing within organizations, within teams, within industries. It feels like a constant battle, and this creates a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety, a lot of exhaustion. And people start to believe that this is the only way to succeed. But if you observe carefully, you will notice something very interesting. The ones who truly succeed are not always the ones who fight the hardest. They are not always the most aggressive. They are not always the most competitive. Instead, they are often the ones who find their own path, who understand themselves deeply, and who adapt with clarity. They are not trying to defeat others. They are transcending themselves. And this is a very different game. And because when you focus on defeating others, you are trapped in comparison. But when you focus on understanding yourself, you step out of that trap. You create your own direction, and this is true freedom. And this idea is deeply connected to what Xuemo expresses as well. He often suggests that the real victory is not external, it is internal. It is not about winning against others, but about seeing through yourself, seeing your limitations, seeing your patterns, and transforming them. Xuemo always always repeatedly say that do not try to conquer the world, but to conquer yourself. Conquer yourself to conquer yourself. Yes. So seeing your own limitations, seeing your own patterns, and to transforming them. And once you do that, you no longer. And the true success is about conquering yourself. Yes. And once you do that, you no longer need to compete. You naturally move forward. And this is why, in a highly competitive world, the highest strategy is actually not to compete. Not in a passive way, but in a conscious way. You focus on your path, you refine your direction, you align with reality, and because of that, you can move steadily without unnecessary conflict, without wasting energy, without losing clarity. And this leads to something else, a kind of ease, a kind of lightness, because you are no longer fighting everything. You are following with what is. So this is also very important based on the wisdom of Tao Te Ching, that follow with what is, but not forcing to do something. Just flow with what is. Flow with what is. 顺势而行. Flow with what is. And when you are in that state, you become more effective, not less, more, because your energy is focused, your mind is clear, and your actions are aligned. And this is what creates real results. And there is another important point. People often think that to achieve great things, you must be very visible, you must stand out, you must dominate. But in reality, those who can achieve the truly great things are often the opposite. They are grounded, they are humble, they are not trying to attract attention, but they attract trust. They are not trying to impress, but they make others feel comfortable. And this is very powerful because people trust them. People want to work with them. People are willing to follow them. And this is what makes great things possible. And this kind of presence is often described as great wisdom appearing simple. 大智若愚，大智若愚 great wisdom appearing simple. Or you can say it is also can be translated into great wisdom appearing dumb, great wisdom appearing dumb. It doesn't try to show itself, but it deeply effective. And this is the kind of person who is closest to the essence of the Tao. So after everything we have discussed today, I want to leave you with something simple. I want to leave you with something that success is not something you chase outside, but it is something you grow from within. It is not built on competition, but built on alignment. Alignment with yourself, alignment with others, and alignment with the deeper existence. And when you are aligned, you don't need to force things. You don't need to fight everything. And you don't need to constantly prove yourself. Things begin to unfold naturally, and your direction becomes clearer. Your mind becomes quieter, your actions become more effective, and your energy is more focused. And this is a completely different living style or the way of living. And this cannot be achieved by external methods alone. It requires a different kind of work and inner work and inner kind of work, continuous refinement of yourself. So keep in mind continuous refinement of yourself. And this is why throughout history, many great thinkers have always pointed inward. Not because the outside does not matter, but because the inside determines everything. And in today's world, this becomes even more important because everything is changing so fast and people are constantly pulled in different directions. So if you don't have something stable inside, it is very easy to get lost. And you are easy to get anxiety, become anxious, also easy to lose clarity. So that is why finding finding your inner center is not just a spiritual idea, it is a practical necessity. And it affects how you live, how you work, and how you make decisions. And ultimately, it affects how you experience your life. What we talk about today is only a small part of a much larger body of understanding. And these ideas have been explored in depth in many works. And one of the writers who continues this exploration is Xuemo. Through his writings, he connects inner cultivation with real life. He shows that these are not abstract concepts. They are something you can actually live, something you can experience, something you can verify in your own life. So if you're interested in this kind of understanding, you can explore more through Xuemo's works, not just to read, but to reflect and to experience. Because in the end, the real understanding does not come from hearing, it comes from living. And your life itself will become the answer. So we just talked about compassion, simplicity, and non-competition, and how these ideas and are not just philosophical, but actually very practical. But yes. So, hi, Shaitan. Hello. Good, Gache. Hello, welcome. So, read Xuemo's work and power up your life. And thank you for being here. I'm going to end this session. Thank you.